Did you know that Miyamoto Musashi, the legendary samurai, would wake up before dawn to practice his swordsmanship and perfect his mind for battle? His morning routine was meticulously designed to sharpen both his body and his mind, setting the stage for his legendary success. In this video, we're going to break down the exact morning habits that Musashi followed, and how you can apply them to your own life to start your day with focus, discipline, and purpose. If you want to approach your day like a warrior, whether in business, fitness, or personal growth, stay tuned till the end, because the practices we uncover could be the key to unlocking your peak potential every single day. Let's begin. Number 1. Wake up early. Waking up early, it's a simple yet profound habit. The kind that doesn't make any grand promises but delivers in quiet, consistent ways. Musashi, the legendary samurai, was known for his commitment to discipline, and rising with the sun was part of that. It wasn't just about being up at an absurd hour, it was about owning the morning. Imagine the stillness before the world starts buzzing. It's a time where you have the space to center yourself and lay the groundwork for the day ahead. But why does waking up early matter so much? It's not about checking off an item on some productivity list. It's about giving yourself the first few hours of peace in a world that rarely slows down. There's a certain magic to those early hours. The air is cooler, the world quieter, and your mind sharper, unclouded by the distractions that come later in the day. When you wake up early, you claim those precious moments for yourself. What's even more intriguing is the way early mornings give you control. When you start the day before the sun fully rises, you set the tone. It's an act of defiance, almost. You're saying, today, I'm going to take charge. And that's a mindset that doesn't fade. Waking up early is like stepping onto a battlefield before anyone else. There's a sense of readiness, of preparation. Your day isn't filled with rushing and chaos because you gave yourself the time to step into it with calm focus. But let's not sugarcoat it. Waking up early can be hard, especially when the temptation of warmth and comfort from your bed feels like an unspoken invitation. Musashi would probably say that's the challenge worth conquering. It's not the act itself that holds the power, it's the discipline that gets you there. So, it's less about fighting the battle of snooze buttons and more about building the strength to resist that voice that says, 5 more minutes. Because those 5 minutes? They're the gateway to losing control of the day. The bed might pull you in, but the routine of rising early pulls you out. And let's be clear, this isn't about hours upon hours of early morning meditation or extreme workouts at dawn, though you can definitely make space for that if it aligns with your goals. It's simply about creating a rhythm where the morning belongs to you. You're not jumping into your day with a jolt. Instead, you ease into it. Whether that means starting with a cup of tea, stretching your body, or simply reflecting on your intentions for the day, these are your moments. You get to decide what happens in that quiet space before the noise arrives. As Musashi knew, victory is often won in the small, unseen moments. The habits that aren't glamorous but build the foundation for greatness. Waking up early is one of those habits. It's a simple act, but it shapes the day. It shapes the way you face challenges. The warrior mentality is one of constant preparation, and the early morning hours are your training ground. It's not about fighting the clock, it's about setting the pace for the entire day. By embracing the morning, you invite a rhythm that flows through every action that follows. It's not rushed. It's intentional. So, when the temptation of sleep calls, remember that you're not just waking up, you're stepping into a new day with purpose, with intention. And that, more than anything, is what makes the Musashi morning routine something worth adopting. Number 2, silent meditation. Silent meditation. It's such a simple concept, yet so incredibly powerful. For Musashi, a samurai who knew the value of both mental and physical sharpness, starting the day with quiet contemplation was non-negotiable. It's almost like pressing a reset button for your mind, an opportunity to ground yourself in the present before diving into the chaos of daily life. But here's the thing, we live in a world that's constantly buzzing. The moment you open your eyes, it's like 1,000 thoughts rushing all at once. What's for breakfast? What's on the agenda today? How many emails are piling up? It's overwhelming, right? Silent meditation is like a breath of fresh air in that storm. It gives you space to simply be. No distractions. No demands. Just you, sitting quietly with your thoughts. Musashi understood that clarity of mind was essential for success. Before the sword, before the strategy, there was stillness. The practice of silent meditation allowed him to find balance, control his thoughts, and center himself. Imagine the strength in that, being able to face the world with an unwavering focus because you've spent a few minutes connecting with your inner self. The beauty of silent meditation is that it doesn't require much. You don't need fancy rituals or intricate setups. It's about clearing the mental clutter. Just find a quiet space, sit comfortably, and close your eyes. Feel the rise and fall of your breath. Each inhale is like pulling in fresh energy, and every exhale releases tension, doubt, and worry. But here's the tricky part, your mind doesn't want to cooperate. Thoughts will come rushing in, and it's easy to get frustrated. It's like trying to meditate in the middle of a busy street with cars honking all around you. The trick is to let the thoughts pass by like clouds in the sky. Don't attach to them. Let them float away, and gently bring your focus back to your breath. This act of returning to the present moment is the heart of meditation. It's not about achieving a perfect state of mind, it's about building a habit of returning to center, no matter how often your thoughts try to pull you away. What Musashi realized is that this stillness wasn't just about feeling good or relaxing. It was about sharpening his mental sword. In that silence, he could process his thoughts without being influenced by external noise. This practice helped him develop an intuitive clarity that guided him in battle and life. Imagine what that could do for you. A daily moment of pause, where you consciously let go of the noise and confusion. It's not a quick fix, but over time, this habit will give you something invaluable, a calm, steady mind that doesn't get swept away by the storm of everyday life. This kind of mental discipline carries over into everything you do. Whether you're handling a tough situation at work, navigating personal challenges, or simply trying to focus on a task, the practice of silent meditation teaches you to stay grounded. The beauty of this practice lies in its simplicity. You don't have to try to force a specific thought or outcome. It's about letting go of expectations. You're not trying to achieve anything other than the experience of being fully present. The more you do it, the more natural it becomes to tap into that quiet strength, even when life gets chaotic. In essence, silent meditation is like sharpening the blade of your mind. It's about creating space for your thoughts to settle and finding clarity in that quiet. And much like Musashi did before he drew his sword, you'll approach each day with intention, calm, and focus. The day doesn't control you, you control how you engage with it. This subtle shift in perspective might just be the difference between simply reacting to life's events and taking them on with the deliberate, purposeful energy of a true warrior. Number 3, physical training. When you think of a samurai, the first thing that might come to mind is the image of a warrior, sword in hand, ready to face any challenge that comes their way. But behind that fierce exterior, there's a hidden element of discipline, something that goes far beyond the battlefield. It's in the way they live their lives, and, of course, in how they train their bodies. And that's exactly what we're going to dive into when we talk about the physical training that made Musashi's morning routine so legendary. For Musashi, physical training wasn't just about strength, it was about balance, focus, and precision. Imagine waking up before the sun and immediately setting your mind to work. No distractions, no hesitations, just pure discipline. The way a samurai approached their training wasn't just to make their bodies stronger, it was to mold their minds as well. So, the question is, how do we tap into that same energy and make it a part of our daily routine? The first key is simplicity. Musashi's morning training wasn't complicated. It wasn't about the fancy equipment or the latest trend in fitness. It was about mastering the basics and doing them with intense focus. Just like the sword techniques that samurai practiced for years, each movement in your training should be deliberate. The power doesn't come from doing 1,000 different exercises, it comes from doing a few things exceptionally well. Whether it's push-ups, squats, or simple stretches, the goal is to find that stillness within each motion, that perfect alignment between your mind and body. But here's the twist, while the movements may seem simple, there's an underlying intensity in the way a samurai approaches them. It's not about rushing through them to finish. It's about feeling each muscle engage, each breath fueling the next movement. That's where the real power lies. Musashi understood this concept in his own way, always seeking to control his body as if it were an extension of his mind. You're not just doing reps for the sake of it, each repetition is a chance to sharpen your focus, to heighten your awareness. Musashi also believed in the importance of adaptability. As a samurai, you never knew what challenges the day might bring. The same goes for your physical training. Don't get stuck in one routine. Sure, it's tempting to settle into a comfortable rhythm, but the key to growth is pushing past that comfort zone. Musashi likely varied his training depending on what he needed to work on, constantly adapting to his own weaknesses and refining his strengths. In your own routine, try switching up your exercises regularly. Push your limits. Work on areas where you feel less confident and see how that changes not only your body but your mental approach to challenges in general. Musashi was also known for his resilience. The samurai weren't known for taking shortcuts, and neither should you when it comes to your training. When you're tired or feeling off, that's when the true work begins. A samurai doesn't bow out because it's tough, they push through. There's a mental toughness that comes from sticking to your routine, even when the motivation feels like it's fading. This isn't just about physical strength, it's about your ability to stay focused, to find that warrior mindset when your body wants to quit. Finally, it's about consistency. You don't need to train for hours every morning to channel your inner samurai. Musashi didn't wake up to do 2-hour sessions. It was about maintaining a steady, unwavering commitment. It's the small daily actions that compound over time. In the same way that a samurai doesn't grow their skill overnight, you won't see the results immediately. But if you stick with it, consistently pushing yourself, you'll eventually reach a level of mastery, both physically and mentally. So, next time you wake up and think about your morning routine, ask yourself, what would a samurai do? Start simple, stay focused, adapt, and embrace the grind. Let each movement you make be a deliberate step towards a stronger, more disciplined version of yourself. Just like Musashi, you can use your morning training not only to prepare your body for the day ahead but to sharpen your mind and spirit, setting the tone for everything else that comes your way. Number 4, Cold Water Ritual. The cold water ritual. It's one of those things that sounds like a test, a challenge, even. It's not something most of us would instinctively reach for when we're half awake, groggy, and trying to figure out how to survive the day. But in Musashi's world, this was about more than just splashing water on his face. It was about waking up the body, about making sure every inch of him was aligned and alert, as if his entire being was on high alert from the moment he opened his eyes. There's a certain shock that cold water gives you, no gentleness, no gradual warming up. It's an instant wake-up call, a way to break through the fog of sleep and send a rush of energy through your body. When the cold water hits your skin, it's like you're forced to pay attention. There's no hiding from it, no easing in slowly. It's in your face, in your body, in your blood. In those few seconds, everything is stripped down to raw, undeniable sensation. But it's more than just the physical effect. There's a mental component to it, too. Think about it. When you throw yourself into that shock, you're training your mind to handle discomfort. You're teaching yourself not to shy away from challenges, but to meet them head-on. Musashi understood this deeply. The warrior's path was filled with discomfort, whether it was the weight of a sword or the heat of battle. The ability to confront discomfort with calm and clarity is what separates those who survive from those who falter. And the cold water? That's your first lesson of the day. It's easy to think that a ritual like this is all about physical toughness, but it's about resilience in mind, too. Musashi wasn't just sharpening his body, he was sharpening his mental focus. The cold water forced him to practice presence. There's no room for wandering thoughts or hesitation when you're face to face with an icy splash. You can't second-guess it or wait for a better moment. You dive in. It's instant. It's now. And when you do that, you start to carry that same sense of urgency and clarity into the rest of your day. The ritual itself doesn't have to be complicated, but it requires commitment. Musashi wasn't a man of indulgence or comfort. He didn't spend his mornings wrapped in warmth, letting the world happen to him. He met it head-on, and the cold water ritual was a part of that daily challenge. It's about choosing discomfort over ease. It's about being deliberate in how you face the world, even in those first moments after you wake up. By embracing the cold, you teach yourself that discomfort is nothing to fear, but something to conquer. And here's the interesting part. The cold water ritual isn't just a physical act, it's a mental reset. It's almost like hitting the reset button on your mind. You're not just waking up your body, you're clearing the fog that can cloud your thoughts. The shock jolts you into focus, and that focus doesn't just end when you walk away from the sink. It carries with you, subtly and powerfully. You start to notice how much more alert you are. You start to realize that you're not running from discomfort, you're leaning into it. That's what Musashi was about, using the discomfort of the present to fuel the clarity and calm of the future. When you adopt the cold water ritual, you're not just doing it for the wake-up effect, you're doing it for the bigger picture. It's not just about feeling alive in the moment, it's about creating a daily habit of pushing past the initial resistance and finding strength in the challenge. It's about building that warrior's mentality, one drop of water at a time. So the next time you stand in front of the mirror, ready to face that cold splash, don't hesitate. Embrace the shock. Let it remind you that you're in control, that you're ready for whatever the day throws at you. It's more than just water on your skin, it's a reminder that you can face anything, as long as you're willing to dive in. Number 5. Weapon maintenance. Weapon maintenance. Sounds a bit old school, doesn't it? But, when you really think about it, the concept is timeless. Musashi, the samurai, wasn't just concerned with the sword in his hand, he understood that the weapon wasn't just an external tool. It was an extension of himself. To be effective, it needed constant care. In the same way, we need to maintain the tools we use every day, the ones that carry us through life, whether they're physical, mental, or emotional. Now, imagine Musashi waking up at dawn. The first thing he'd do, after centering himself, was take care of his sword. He would inspect every inch of the blade, checking for rust, imperfections, or anything that could interfere with its sharpness. He'd wipe it down, keep it polished, maybe oil the hilt, ensuring it was ready for whatever came his way. Why? Because a dull blade, just like a dull mind or body, is useless when the moment comes to act. What if we approached our mornings in a similar way? We wake up, sure, but are we truly ready for the day ahead? Most of us just stumble out of bed, grab our phone, rush through breakfast, and head into a whirlwind of tasks, all without pausing to check the state of our weapons. You see, just like Musashi's sword, we have to keep our minds and bodies in top form. Let's start with the body. You wouldn't expect a warrior to step onto the battlefield with a weapon that's broken or unkempt. Similarly, we need to take care of our physical vessel. Musashi knew the importance of fitness, of honing not just his sword skills but his entire body. When we wake up, we can take a few moments to stretch, to activate the muscles that will carry us through the day. It's not about pushing hard or exhausting yourself first thing. It's about tuning into your body, getting it ready, making sure it's sharp and flexible for whatever challenges come. But it's not all about physical maintenance. Musashi's sword wasn't only about how sharp the blade was, it was about the quality of the steel, the attention to the details of the hilt, the balance of the whole thing. Our minds work in much the same way. They need constant sharpening, care, and attention. A blade can be sharp but useless if it's not in the right hands, just like a mind can be incredibly intelligent but scattered and unfocused. That's where mental maintenance comes in. Taking care of the mind might look different for everyone. It could be a moment of quiet reflection, reading something that challenges your thinking, or simply organizing your thoughts before diving into the day. It could even be doing something creative that gets the juices flowing. But the idea is the same. Like Musashi, we need to treat our minds like precious weapons, always refining, always improving. Then there's the emotional side of the sword, the hilt, the grip. If your grip is loose, your control of the sword weakens. If your emotions are all over the place, your ability to handle life's challenges becomes much harder. Weapon maintenance means checking in on your emotional state. Are you holding on to unnecessary stress, unresolved anger, or fear? These emotional blocks can make you unsteady, unpredictable. So, take a moment to assess where you stand emotionally and clear away any debris. It's a small task that, over time, has a profound impact on your ability to handle the ups and downs of daily life. And it's not just about the physical and mental aspects. Musashi was also keenly aware of the spiritual connection between a warrior and his weapon. A sword wasn't just a tool, it was a symbol, a reflection of the warrior's inner state. In the same way, we must nurture our spirit, our deeper sense of purpose. Whether that means meditation, connecting with nature, or spending time with loved ones, we need to align ourselves with a sense of mission, something that drives us beyond the surface-level tasks of the day. So, weapon maintenance is not just a ritual. It's a commitment. It's about respecting the tools that carry us through life, the body, the mind, the emotions, and the spirit. It's about taking a few moments each morning to check in, to ensure that everything is functioning at its peak. The blade doesn't get sharpened in a rush. It's honed over time, with deliberate care. And when it's sharp, when it's balanced, when it's ready, it cuts through life with precision. That's what weapon maintenance is all about. Number 6. Strategic planning. When we think of Musashi, the first image that comes to mind is usually that of a fierce warrior, poised with a katana, ready for battle. But behind that sharp, battle-hardened exterior, Musashi was also a master strategist. And this strategic mindset wasn't just reserved for the battlefield, it seeped into every part of his life, including his daily routine. So when we talk about the Musashi morning routine, we can't ignore the importance of strategic planning. You see, Musashi wasn't the type to wake up and just see what happens. No, his days were carefully structured to prepare him mentally, physically, and spiritually for whatever challenges lay ahead. And that's the beauty of strategic planning. It's not about being rigid, but about creating a structure that gives you the flexibility to adapt to whatever the day throws at you. Imagine waking up in the early hours, before the sun has even risen, when everything is still quiet. The first thing Musashi likely did was set his intention for the day. He didn't just roll out of bed and get caught up in the chaos. He took time to think ahead, to consider his goals, his priorities, and how he would navigate the day. This is where the power of planning starts. It's not just about scheduling tasks, it's about preparing your mind for what you need to accomplish. The day isn't just a series of hours, it's an opportunity to conquer challenges and make progress towards something bigger. Think about it, if you don't plan, you're essentially letting the day dictate how things unfold. But when you take control and plan with intention, you're able to direct your energy where it's needed most. Musashi didn't waste his time on things that didn't serve his ultimate mission. Every action, every decision was made with his goals in mind. In the same way, you can approach your day by breaking it down into specific tasks and objectives that align with your broader ambitions. But here's the trick, planning doesn't mean micromanaging every single moment. Musashi understood that, to be a true strategist, you have to leave room for flexibility. After all, life doesn't always go as planned, right? Plans can change in an instant, and if you're too rigid, you'll miss the chance to pivot when necessary. Musashi knew how to adapt quickly, assess the situation, and make swift decisions. So, when you plan your day, do so with the understanding that unexpected events may pop up, and that's okay. The goal isn't perfection, it's progress. A key component of Musashi's strategic thinking was his ability to focus on the long term. He wasn't just preparing for today, he was planning for the future, always keeping his eyes on the bigger picture. When he made a decision, he considered how it would impact not just the immediate moment, but his future self. That's something we can all take away from his approach. Planning isn't just about the to-do list for today, it's about aligning your daily actions with your long-term goals. So, take a step back each morning and ask yourself, what am I building toward? When you're clear on the larger vision, it's easier to make daily decisions that align with your path. But strategic planning is not just about thinking, it's about doing. Musashi didn't just sit around contemplating strategies, he took action. He combined mental preparation with physical discipline, which is what set him apart as a master warrior. Similarly, you can't spend all day planning without executing. Your plan needs to be something you actively work on throughout the day. A good plan is useless if you don't follow through with it, and Musashi knew this better than anyone. Your strategy should give you a roadmap for the day, but your actions are what will drive you towards success. When you think about your own day, break it down into small, achievable steps that align with your bigger goals. And, just like Musashi, take time to reflect on your plan. How do the tasks you've set for yourself fit into the larger strategy of your life? Are they moving you closer to your goals, or are they distractions that keep you from the bigger picture? In the end, strategic planning isn't just about organizing your day, it's about setting your intentions, aligning your actions with your goals, and making decisions that move you forward. Just as Musashi carefully mapped out his actions, both on and off the battlefield, you too can approach your day with purpose, ensuring that each moment brings you closer to becoming the person you aim to be. Start your day like a samurai, focused, intentional, and ready to face whatever comes your way with a clear strategy. Number 7. Minimalist breakfast. The minimalist breakfast. It sounds simple, maybe even a little too simple. But there's a lot more to this than just a quick bite. When Musashi chose a minimalist breakfast, it wasn't because he had a lack of options or because he didn't know what good food could be. No, it was intentional. The act of keeping things basic, of not overindulging, was a reflection of something deeper: clarity, focus, and purpose. It was about fueling the body in the most efficient way possible, without unnecessary distractions. Now, think about it, in the modern world, breakfast has become this event. We've got smoothie bowls, intricate pancakes, complex egg dishes, and countless other options. It can be overwhelming, almost like you're trying to pack too much into one meal. But Musashi wasn't about excess. He understood that too much choice, too much complexity, can pull your attention in a million directions. So, he kept it simple. A minimalist breakfast isn't about eating bland, tasteless food. It's about stripping away the fluff, the extras, and focusing on the essentials, on what truly nourishes you. When you eat a minimalist breakfast, there's no room for confusion or indulgence. You don't stand there staring at the fridge, trying to decide what to make. There's no debate over whether you should go for something sweet or savory. You already know. The simplicity is freeing. It's like taking a mental load off. The decision has already been made for you. Fuel your body, no frills. That clarity, that decisiveness, it's not just good for your body, it's good for your mind. It's one less thing to think about, one less decision to make. And that sets the tone for the day. You might think, but don't I need a fancy breakfast to start the day right? Here's the thing, Musashi didn't believe in the unnecessary. He didn't waste time on the extravagant. He focused on what gave him strength and what helped him maintain clarity. Breakfast wasn't a celebration. It was a tool. The idea is that food should serve its purpose, to fuel you, not distract you. In a way, keeping breakfast simple is like sharpening a sword. It's about honing in on what's truly important. And what does this minimalist breakfast look like in practice? It's probably nothing elaborate. It might be a simple bowl of rice, some broth, or maybe a handful of fruit. You don't need to load up on 100 different things. Instead, you choose foods that are nourishing, clean, and efficient. Foods that give you steady, sustainable energy. You don't want to be weighed down by a heavy, overly rich meal, especially early in the morning. That's the last thing you want when your focus is so important. The beauty of a minimalist breakfast isn't just in its simplicity, though, it's in its alignment with purpose. When you don't have to spend time deciding what to eat, your energy isn't scattered. You can eat, finish, and move on to the next task. There's no lingering over a complicated dish, no hours of digestion. You get the fuel you need without the distractions. You're giving yourself a clean start, a chance to move through the morning without being bogged down by unnecessary indulgences. Every decision made in the morning can be a decision toward your greater focus, and a minimalist breakfast is one of the first acts of discipline that sets the tone for the rest of the day. Moreover, a minimalist breakfast is also about being intentional with your choices. You're not mindlessly grabbing whatever is in front of you. No, you're eating with purpose. Every bite, every chew, is an act of fueling yourself for what's to come. There's no excess here, no room for mindless eating. You're preparing your body, preparing your mind. It's a quiet act of self-discipline, a way of saying, I don't need more than this to perform at my best today. It's simple. It's clean. It's powerful. So, when you sit down for your minimalist breakfast, remember this, it's not just about the food. It's about the mindset behind it. It's about creating a morning routine that's efficient, intentional, and uncluttered. Because if you start your day with clarity and purpose, you'll carry that energy into everything else you do. And that's what Musashi knew, the power of simplicity. Number 8, study and reflection. Study and reflection. Those two words sound almost peaceful, don't they? And they should be. But there's a depth to them, especially when you think about them through the lens of a warrior like Musashi. For him, study wasn't just about learning strategies or philosophies. It was about constantly examining, questioning, and refining his understanding of himself and the world. Reflection wasn't just a moment of quiet thought, it was a powerful tool for personal growth and mastery. Now, imagine waking up early, the world's still quiet, and you take a seat to engage in your study. But here's the twist, this isn't the kind of study where you're cramming facts or chasing external knowledge. Musashi didn't spend his mornings reading random books or taking notes just for the sake of it. His study was deliberate, focused on sharpening his mind and spirit. It wasn't just information for information's sake, it was about practical wisdom, understanding his place in the world, and how to align himself with his purpose. So, what would this kind of study look like? It could start with something as simple as revisiting a principle that's important to you. Musashi was deeply connected to his martial philosophy, and so he'd spend time reflecting on his techniques, his experiences, and what they taught him. He might consider his past victories and losses, not to dwell on them, but to learn from them. It wasn't about feeling good about success or bad about failure. It was about growth, always. In the same way, you might spend your morning thinking about what's working in your life, what's not, and what needs tweaking. The key here is introspection, not just surface-level analysis. But study isn't just internal either. It's also about absorbing wisdom from the world around you. Musashi didn't close himself off from learning. His eyes were open to everything, and his mind was always seeking new perspectives. Maybe for you, study means diving into philosophy, poetry, or history. Maybe it's understanding different cultures or exploring different ways of thinking. Whatever it is, it's a hunger for growth and deeper understanding, not just a passive acceptance of the status quo. But here's where it gets interesting. The key to Musashi's study wasn't just in gathering information, it was in reflecting on that information. Reflection is the quiet counterpoint to study. It's where you take what you've learned and truly sit with it, letting it sink in, giving it time to resonate. Musashi didn't rush through this part of his routine. He understood that true wisdom doesn't just come from reading or consuming, it comes from absorbing and then integrating that knowledge into your life. Reflection could be something as simple as asking yourself, how does this apply to me right now, or what am I missing? It's easy to read something and feel like you've learned it, but reflection is what turns knowledge into wisdom. And Musashi wasn't after surface-level understanding, he was aiming for mastery, and mastery requires more than just a cursory glance at a subject. It requires deep contemplation and a willingness to go back, over and over again, to make sure the lesson is internalized. In a practical sense, this might look like journaling, where you reflect on the previous day or week, looking for patterns or insights. It might be sitting with a piece of wisdom, letting it roll around in your mind, seeing how it fits with your life, and then adjusting your actions accordingly. Musashi likely didn't approach his study and reflection as a quick morning task. No, this was part of a larger process, a lifelong journey of self-mastery. And in that sense, it's the same for us. The morning study isn't just about getting a few ideas down, it's about setting the tone for your entire day. It's about starting with purpose and clarity, then using that foundation to make better decisions as the day unfolds. The beauty of Musashi's approach to study and reflection was its adaptability. It didn't require a specific method or a set ritual. It was about engaging deeply with whatever he was focused on and allowing it to shape him. And isn't that what we all need? To carve out time each morning to tune in, reflect, and recalibrate? Because, just like a warrior before battle, we need to be sharp, clear, and ready. And study and reflection are the tools that help us do that. They're like the mental and emotional weapons that fortify us against whatever the day throws our way. Number 9. Breathing exercises. Imagine this, you've just woken up, the world is still quiet, and you know you need to center yourself before diving into the chaos of the day ahead. That's where breathing exercises come in, an often overlooked part of the Musashi morning routine. While most people might reach for their phones or start jumping into tasks right away, a warrior like Musashi would have known that the power of breath is the key to setting the tone for everything that follows. Now, don't let the idea of breathing exercises fool you. It's not just about taking a few deep breaths here and there and calling it a day. This is a focused practice, a way to ground yourself, sharpen your mind, and bring clarity to your thoughts before you take on the world. Think of it like an internal reset. The breath is something we often take for granted, but when you begin to use it intentionally, it becomes a powerful tool to enhance your mental state and energy levels. The first thing Musashi would have understood is the importance of controlled breathing. If you've ever noticed how your breath tends to speed up when you're anxious or stressed, you'll understand that the way we breathe has a huge impact on our mental and physical state. In fact, how we breathe can either calm us down or send us into a state of panic. So, why not make it a conscious practice from the very beginning of the day? When you focus on your breath, you begin to take control of your body's natural rhythm. Musashi would have known that in the heat of battle, or in the moments leading up to a challenge, staying calm and composed is everything. And the first step to that calmness is the breath. So, whether you're facing a stressful situation or just starting your day, practicing controlled breathing is a way to cultivate a sense of inner peace. You're not just filling your lungs with air, you're filling your entire being with a sense of readiness, clarity, and purpose. Breathing deeply, all the way into your abdomen, helps to activate your parasympathetic nervous system, the part of your body responsible for relaxation. It's like flipping a switch from fight or flight mode to calm and collected. This is especially important if you wake up feeling rushed, anxious, or overwhelmed by the tasks ahead. Just a few minutes of intentional deep breathing can help you hit the reset button and clear your mind of distractions. But the real magic happens when you combine the breath with your intention. Musashi didn't just act mindlessly. Every movement, every decision, every breath was aligned with his purpose. So, as you breathe, bring your focus to the task at hand. Whether it's a challenge you're preparing to face or a goal you're aiming for, use your breath to connect with that intention. Each inhale fills you with energy and focus, while each exhale releases any tension, doubt, or uncertainty. You're not just breathing in oxygen, you're breathing in the mindset of a warrior ready to tackle whatever comes next. The beauty of breathing exercises is that they don't have to be long or complicated. You don't need a yoga mat or a fancy app. All you need is your body and your focus. Start by sitting in a comfortable position, close your eyes, and begin to inhale deeply through your nose, letting the air fill your lungs slowly. Hold for a moment, and then exhale slowly through your mouth. Do this for a few minutes, gradually deepening your breath and letting go of any tension in your body. The key is to stay present in each breath, allowing it to guide you into a state of calm. Breathing exercises are also an excellent way to connect your body and mind. Musashi was a master of integrating both, knowing that true strength comes from balance. By practicing breathing exercises, you're not just calming your body, you're sharpening your mind. Every breath is a reminder that you are fully in control of your own energy. You are not at the mercy of your circumstances. The breath teaches you how to remain centered, no matter what's going on around you. What's more, breathing exercises can be used throughout the day, not just in the morning. Musashi would have known that being able to stay calm and composed in any situation was key to his success. So why not take a moment in the middle of your day to return to your breath? Whether you're in a meeting, dealing with a difficult situation, or just feeling overwhelmed, a few minutes of intentional breathing can reset your entire mindset. It's a tool you carry with you all the time, ready to be used whenever you need to regain focus and composure. In the end, breathing exercises aren't just about relaxation, they're about mastery. Musashi understood that true strength is found in control, and nothing gives you control over your body and mind like the power of intentional breath. It's a simple yet profound practice, one that can transform not only your morning but your entire approach to life. So, take a deep breath and center yourself before the day begins, just like a samurai preparing for battle. Number 10. Begin work with purpose. Starting work with purpose. It's such a simple concept, yet it's often one of the easiest things to overlook when the distractions of the day creep in. Musashi, the master of strategy, didn't begin his work with a vague sense of "I should probably get started." No, he began with intention. There was clarity in his actions, focus in his thoughts, and precision in every move he made. His morning was about aligning himself with what needed to be done, and setting that purpose right from the start. Think about it. You wake up, you've done the basics, woken up early, splashed cold water on your face, eaten a simple, nourishing breakfast, and now it's time to step into your day. This is the moment when everything you've done up to that point needs to come together. You've prepared physically, mentally, emotionally. The next step? Channeling all of that energy into something meaningful. No more drifting. No more waiting for the perfect time. Musashi didn't wait for inspiration to strike. He didn't waste time wondering what his day would look like. He decided, early on, that his work would have purpose, and that's exactly how he approached every task, no matter how big or small. The key here isn't just about diving straight into the grind. It's about making sure that every action you take, every step you move toward, is rooted in something greater than the task itself. Purpose, at its core, is about having a reason to do what you do. Without that sense of meaning, it's easy for your actions to feel scattered, disconnected, like you're moving through the motions but never truly making progress. Musashi understood that. That's why he started his day by aligning himself with that deeper sense of purpose. He didn't just get up to get through the day. He got up to conquer it, to master it. You can't bring purpose into your work if you're still stuck in yesterday's mindset. That's why your morning routine is so important. It's the bridge between your rest and your work. It's the time when you reset your mind, reframe your goals, and get clear on what needs to be done. When you start with purpose, you stop looking at the day as a series of random tasks. Instead, it becomes a journey, one with a clear direction and intention behind every step. There's no confusion about what comes next, no hesitation in your actions. You know exactly why you're doing what you're doing. But starting work with purpose isn't always as easy as flipping a switch. We all have those days when it feels hard to find motivation, when it feels like we're dragging ourselves through the motions. Musashi, though, wasn't someone who let external circumstances dictate his energy. Whether he was fighting a battle or facing a difficult task, he approached it with resolve. He didn't wait for conditions to be perfect. He made the conditions work for him. And that's exactly the mentality you need to adopt when you sit down to work. To bring purpose into your work, you have to stop letting your to-do list dictate your actions. Instead of jumping from task to task without thinking, pause for a moment. Ground yourself. Why are you doing this? What's the bigger picture? Even if the task seems small or menial, remember that it's part of something larger. It's part of your progress, part of your bigger goals. When you begin with this mindset, even the most mundane tasks take on a sense of importance. They're not just things to check off, they're stepping stones toward your larger vision. Starting work with purpose also means you're not wasting time on distractions. When you're clear about what you're working toward, distractions lose their power. They might try to pull you in, but they won't succeed in the same way they would if you were just wandering through your day without a clear sense of what you're doing. When you're focused on your purpose, everything else falls into place. The world outside might be noisy, but inside, you've created a space of clarity. The beauty of beginning with purpose is that it doesn't just set the tone for your work, it sets the tone for everything else. When you approach your day with intention, that purpose follows you into every moment. It influences how you interact with others, how you make decisions, and how you handle obstacles. Musashi wasn't just a warrior in the physical sense. He was a warrior of the mind. He knew that his actions, his purpose, would create ripples in everything else he did. So when you begin with purpose, you're not just preparing for the work in front of you, you're preparing for everything that follows. So, before you dive into your day, take a moment. Remember that what you do matters, even when it doesn't feel like it. Every step, no matter how small, contributes to your larger purpose. Start with that clarity. Start with that purpose. And then, let it guide you through everything you do. Because when you begin with purpose, you're not just working, you're creating. You're crafting a life built on intentional action. And that's how a samurai warrior starts his day. Thank you for tuning in. I hope the Musashi-inspired morning routine has given you some powerful tools to transform your mornings and start your day with warrior-like focus and discipline. Remember, how you begin your day sets the tone for everything that follows, so make it count. If you found this video helpful, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more actionable life lessons and strategies. Stay consistent, stay focused, and keep sharpening your mind and body just like a true samurai. Until next time, embrace your inner warrior and make today your masterpiece. Take care.